All right, I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, what do we got going on here? Agenda. Okay, we don't have any minutes probably. Helen, do we have minutes? No minutes? Yep, okay. Any reports to bring forward?
I have none.
No reports, gentlemen?
No reports, Mr. Chairman.
Correspondence, anyone?
I have no correspondence.
Okay. All right, we'll jump down to calendar review. Helen, what do we have coming up this week?
This is it for today. Tomorrow at noon, Boyd Andrew board meeting in Helena. Planning board at 7. Thursday, 7 a.m. There's a road safety meeting. Trico fire at 9. Survey review at 1:30. Weed board at 6. And basin water and sewer at 6:30. Commissioner Mullins Friday.
This is really.
And he has a CSAA meeting at 8:30. And Monday,
Employee breakfast.
okay, I'm going to safety. So there's breakfast for employees from 8 to 10 at Volunteer Hall. Boulder City Council at 6:30 and Whitehall Town Council at 7.
And Parks Trails and Rec at 6:30.
Monday.
What's that?
Monday.
Yeah, we changed it.
Thank you, Helen. Commissioner Mullen, do you have anything to add?
I thought I did when she went through this, but Boyd Andrews meeting isn't tomorrow, it's next week instead. It's been moved this week.
Okay, is
Because
it just
of-
this time or?
Just this time,
Okay.
yeah, just this time, yeah. That's the only change I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Haggard, do you have anything to add?
I do. This upcoming Thursday at 8 in the morning is a CTAC meeting in Whitehall, and then the weed board meeting council has been, or it's been canceled, the weed board council on Thursday. And the 15th, commissioners at 9 in the morning have the general election canvass here at the clerk and recorder's conference room. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. I've got a county ordinance, event ordinance discussion with a few of the folks in the county tomorrow. Looks like at 9:30, and I think that's in county attorney's office. We're just gonna discuss the current events ordinance that's on the books right now and how we deal with some of the big functions like Rockin' the Rivers and Country Jam and some of that. So we'll be discussing that tomorrow. Got a Southwest Montana Juvenile Detention Board meeting tomorrow. That's at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's just a Zoom meeting. And I think Helen covered everything else on my calendar, so
Yeah.
kind of a busy week. Okay, calendar review. Guess we'll jump down to commission reports. Anything to report on this last couple of weeks, Commissioner Mullen?
I can almost say no. With the exception of last Friday, I actually had a CSAA meeting, if I can find my agenda here. For people that aren't here, the CSAA stands for Central Service Area Authority, and it's a mental health group. And it's a group, it's set out in statute. There's three service area authorities in the state, and we're the Central Service Area Authority. And we help the service area, we help the mental health oversight advisory councils in those counties with their mental health responsibilities. We give them money to help advertise. We try to help them identify gaps that they have in services in their communities, that kind of stuff. And we meet every Friday, and we kind of beat a dead horse to death every week and talk about the same thing over and over again. This Friday, we started talking about a work plan, so we're in the process of putting together a work plan for the next year. And other than that, we just kind of had reports from meetings that our members had attended, like the Behavioral Health Advisory Council report. That's another mental health group at the state level. The Montana Alliance for Prevention, or MAP, that's another group that meets in the state. And we have people that go and attend their meetings. And then the Behavioral Health Alliance of Montana, which is an organization made up of all the many other mental health and substance abuse providers in the state. So we've pretty much had reports from them at the meetings that they've been to. And then we also talked more again about one of our things that we've been working on is trying to build our relationships with all of the counties in our region. Not all of the counties have local advisory councils, so we're trying to work with them to get them to establish local advisory councils. So we talked about that for a while on Friday too, and that was about it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Hagerty, what have you been up to?
Thursday, October 31st, the Survey Review Committee met, review one plot of land, and thereafter it was forwarded on for approval. All I have.
That was it? All right, that's good. All right, last, 2 Wednesdays ago, we had a solid waste safety. meeting. We'll have to commend the whole county for doing such a good job with their safety programs. We've had very little or no injuries and really no reportable injuries or lost work time injuries, so doing super good on that front. The county got $40,000 back from the whole pool of work comp, state fund. That's the whole state pool, and they, depending on their performance, you get some money back. If they pay a bunch out, we don't get as much. If everybody does good, then everybody gets a good payback. So we must have had a good year last year and got 40 grand back. So that was great. And it helps our, what do they call that? Our
rating.
rating, our
Mod
performance.
factor.
Modification
Right,
factor or
right,
whatever.
right.
If we don't have accidents, our actual rates go down. So without accidents, we're doing great, and our rates go down every year if we can keep that up. Had a JLDC Board of Directors meeting later that day. Probably the biggest thing is Drew Dawson stepped down. He actually resigned from the board completely, I believe. I think that's the case. He's just got too much on his plate right now, and so he's kind of picking and choosing the groups he wants to be with. And JLDC, he's kind of just letting go for now. So Keith is still president. Stu will be vice president. Nick Hensley will be secretary treasurer. So a little bit of change in guard there. Gary Carlson was our secretary treasurer for I'm not sure how many years. He stepped down out of that. He'll still be on the board, but he is no longer secretary and treasurer. So Nick will take that over. So those are the big things happening at the JLDC. An update on the Whitetail Center. Western Legacy Center has moved out completely. I think they painted it back to close to what it was to start with. So I think JLTC is happy with that. Looking for a new possible tenant for the space at the Western Legacy Center. They're thinking of maybe splitting them up, the different offices if need be, rent this space out and this space out in two different areas if need be. Hopefully we can get one person in to take the whole thing, but we'll see. And then renting out the conference room in between for some income. They got a fairly good size conference room they can rent out, and I think it's got Zoom and everything set up in there. So Sunlight Business Park working on new leases. New tenant has moved into unit 27. Pfeiffer Management, I'm not sure, it's a construction company. He was on the wait list for a unit. I'm trying to get everybody caught up on rent, and that's about it on that. Tiffid, we got kind of we've been working so close with JLDC and the mine up there. We're trying to figure out who's responsible for what. Let's see, anything else there? We've got that one warehouse out there that the county still owns that we need to figure out how we can sell that to JLDC, because the county doesn't really need a rental unit where JLDC could surely use it. Let's see, CBDG. I think this is the grant we did for the old YDI. I think it's,
IBGR,
what's that?
Yellowstone Boys and Girls.
Yellowstone Boys, that's what I was trying to find, yeah. So I think that's for their second group home, so as soon as they start working on that, I'm sure this will come back up, but I think, JLDC got all the CDBG check boxes checked and everything's good to go for, I think it's about $500,000 grant from the state for that, so. And they have a membership renewal drive going on right now, starting November 1st, so that's kind of an update on what's going on in JLDC. Let's see, I got a few more minutes, later that day, no, actually Thursday morning, we had a call in from Headwaters. They're pushing the Montana Community Reinvestment Plan, and the state's got a ball of money that they're trying to essentially give out for people getting into like a first-time home buyer situation where the housing costs are so expensive. This is a program the state actually buys down 30% of your first house, 30% of it. But that amount, you're not out that amount, or you're not getting paid that amount, it actually goes on the back of your mortgage. So you're essentially borrowing 70% of your home cost, and then as you pay it down. We haven't figured out exactly. I asked this question at the last meeting. We got another meeting tomorrow or the next day, how that works at the end, if you can keep paying and pay that 30% down eventually as well, or how that all works. But anyways, it's a program that the state's using some extra money for to get people in houses, and it pays, like I say, 30% of the upfront home cost. So might be a good program. I'll know more about it probably after the meeting this week. So that'll be something we have to do a resolution on. And
Regular mortgages, 30-year mortgages?
Yep, and if you take 30% off that, that brings your mortgage rate down. The only stickler to that is you can't, like if you bought your house this year and it doubled in price next year, they only let you take 1% of that each year, or 1% of that cost increase of your house. So, you know, it doesn't matter if your house doubled in price in 10 years, you'd only get 10% from the purchase price out of it. So that's still another question I had. So what if you pay it off at the end and you're completely out of the program? I think you'd probably be able to benefit from the full amount that your house goes up, the equity in your house. So kind of a cool program. We'll see what happens there, but the commission has to actually do by resolution, put us into the pot of that. So our money is split evenly with the rest of the counties. If we don't do anything, then our county isn't eligible for that program. So kind of a different deal. Okay, let's see. That was kind of a busy week. Last week wasn't too much.
Who handles the financing for that, Corey?
What's that?
The state? Who handles the financing? Each lender does a state program that each lender signs up for?
Yeah, they, trying to think how that works. They call it a CRO, and I'm not even sure what that means. There's one in Great Falls and there's one in Billings, and it's the Billings. It's like the low income housing people.
It's not the neighborhood works folks, is it?
It's not, no, it's something else, but they would implement it, and I'm not sure how all that, but it's a regular mortgage lender, so you go down to the bank and borrow.
Okay.
Borrow 70%, that other 30%, I'm not sure who keeps track of that or how that works, but as they get the money rolled back in. So if you sell your house the next year and you only get the 1% equity, the CRO gets the rest of it. So it adds to their pot of money for the next bunch of houses, so it's something that should grow. So I know very little about it, but that's kind of what I got out of the couple meetings that I've gone to so far. So just another program. Seems to be pretty legitimate though. Might work good. We had a road meeting this morning. They were up in Forest Park, Blue Sky Heights, actually digging out culverts we never knew we had, digging them up and cleaning them out. So Bear's pretty confident that we'll have some improved drainage up in those areas up there. Doing a lot of pothole repair, quite a bit of grading. Grading's been a huge struggle this season because of the lack of moisture around, I guess, the whole state. graded up one day and all the traffic the next day turns it to washboard, so it's really hard without any good moisture. Lots of our crew on vacation last few weeks. Hunting season typically does that to us. Let's see, starting winter prep, they're marking all the objects in the road that we're bound to hit if we don't mark them. Phone boxes, natural gas pipes, anything like that will go mark it, so we have something sticking above the snow so we don't smack them. Let's see, anything else worth? Boulder Cutoff Bridge down the valley there, it's in need of replacement, but we actually got qualified for what they call a rapid repair program through the state. And that just takes minor repairs to get the load rating on the bridge either completely removed or bettered on it. So we're gonna move forward with that. We were kind of waiting for a full bridge repair. They're doing that program, but it's taking forever. So we're just gonna move forward with the rapid repair and get it fixed as best we can with this money that's available now, so. All right, and we had a quick solid waste meeting this morning, and nothing really new there. Everything's going great with the solid waste department. Mike's doing a great job, so I'll cut it short there so we can get on to our time-specific agenda item. We'll skip over opportunity for public comment, and we'll come back to that later in the agenda here, so we can get by our time-specific. So 145 subdivision amendment, lot 7 of Bitterroot Meadows.
All right, that's me. We have a buyer, when they want to look at the lot, where the driveway is and where they want to build, it would be a pretty steep driveway. So they're asking just to move it up the driveway up a little bit further, so they can build where they want and have the garage where they want and have the driveway a little bit more looped without having the steepness to the plane of the lot.
Okay. So essentially, how far is that, Lindsay? Is it just moving it from there to there, essentially just a
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving it up.
3/4 of an inch on my paper here, so it's probably 100 feet or so on the ground, huh?
Not very far.
Pretty minor modification.
Correct.
We have some findings and conditions,
Not much, but
no impacts to the previous issued findings and conditions.
No.
Wouldn't affect the COSA. The new approach. Yeah, pretty simple. You wanna look at that, Bob, or do you got
I've
it?
got it.
You
Yeah,
got
I've
it,
got it.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions for Lindsay on this one?
No, I have no
Alright.
questions for Lindsay.
We'll entertain a motion to approve, I guess, and including the findings and conditions.
I would move that we approve, the subdivision amendment for lot 7 of the Bitterroot Meadows subdivision and, adopt the conditions and findings as recommended by the planning board
Planning department.
or planning staff. Okay, thank you.
All right, did you get that, Helen? All right, do we have a second?
I second that.
All right, any other discussion? Anybody have any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right, that's good. Thank you, Lindsay. Okay, we got a little time before our next one, so we'll jump back up to opportunity for public comment. If there's anybody here today that would like to bring forth anything to the commission that's not currently on the agenda, this is the time. We can't make a decision on it, but we can sure discuss it and put it on the next agenda if it's something we need to make a decision on, so. Do you have anything for the commission today?
Well, I was gonna ask the commission and the Parks and Rec group about just meetings related to our property next to the donated park land and easements and consolidating easements and things like that, so.
You
I don't know if
meaning
that's
Stony
new
Brook?
business.
Meaning Stony Brook?
No, I'm Bernadette Miller, so one of
Oh,
the
right
Miller
next,
property
okay,
down by the
okay.
creek.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know where your property is there.
So I don't know if that has to be added for future discussion or if it is included in the,
It's outside of the park area.
it's outside park.
That's something we can definitely look at. What we're talking about today is just the management plan for the park itself, so. As we move forward, as the county gets control of the park, then, I mean, if there's other things we wanna change, like you say, some easements or sharing of easements, that's definitely discussions we can have
Okay.
in the future, for sure,
Great,
yeah.
thank you.
Anybody else have anything for the commission that's not on the agenda? Connor, do you have any questions or comments?
I don't have either of those, but I am interested in this mortgage program you were discussing. So maybe I'll give you a call in a bit.
Okay, sounds good, Connor, yep,
Thank you, sir.
thank you. Okay, we got appointment of board members at the bottom of the agenda. We can probably work through those, Helen, while we have 10 minutes here.
Got 3 today.
3. Oh. Sort them out.
All right. We have, Michael Griffith that's applying for the tax appeal board. He says my combined primary employment history, 1955 to 1993, Northwest Bank, Helena. Real estate lender, and from 95 to 2001, Lewis and Clark County Commissioner. So he's got some pretty good history in governmental entities, I guess, so he would probably be a great one for the tax appeal board, so.
Be a great member. Do we have an opening?
That I don't know,
I think
We kind of do. We got a couple members that would like, probably saying they want to quit, so. But they're still on the board.
so,
Man, we could extra members before, I don't know.
yeah, I'm not sure, maybe we'll have to check with Ginger and see what our board looks like and if we can add any more at this time.
I thought I put on an advertisement for a board member.
For the tax appeal board?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
What's the name step down? It goes to DC or
It'd be
where?
Paul and Dave.
Paul
Paul and Dave. Was it Christina? What's that?
Isn't Christina on there?
Christina, that's what I was
No,
thinking,
no.
Minkowski.
No,
It's a
Oh, yeah.
three-person board, isn't it, Helen?
yeah.
Yes, didn't we kind of appoint somebody that was gonna be like, when Paul was gone, this guy was gonna take over, kind of an alternate?
It seemed like we had.
There was
somebody.
that, we did make that
Thing.
appointment.
Yeah,
Um,
well, we may have to just table this one until we figure. those
Yeah, we have it
questions out.
open. He's a great candidate.
Oh, absolutely, well,
I thought Ginger had asked me to,
that's something we can do in the future. I don't think we need that tax appeal board again till next year, do we, till taxes come out next year, or valuations, I guess.
I
We can,
no idea how the.
we can get it
tax appeal board works.
figured out before too long here, so why don't we just,
Yeah, she sent me something beginning of October saying we need to advertise for a new member of the tax appeal board,
Who said that?
Ginger.
maybe somebody did step down and we're not aware of it.
Or she's not aware that we have this other person that we'd already.
Yeah, I think she's got a list of all our appointees, so I'm not sure. Let me see if she's handy right there.
I don't want to appoint Mike if we've got another guy kind of waiting in the wings.
She's on the phone.
Let's just table it for this week.
Okay, yeah, we got time on that one, lots of time. Okay, the next one's the Jefferson County Library Board. We've got a Heather Denny, and this is what she writes. I am interested in serving on the Jefferson County Library Board. I am a certified 6 to 12 social studies teacher, K through 12 school counselor, and K through 12 principal here in Montana City for 20 years. My family has lived in the Whitehall area since 2019. 2 of my sons graduated from Whitehall High School, and another son is currently a senior. My grandson currently attends the Early Head Start program at Christie's Kitty Corner. The EHS program had a partnership with the Whitehall Public Library that allowed the children to participate in story time on a weekly basis. That program has been discontinued, and I find it concerning that our community libraries have decided to stop serving children's programs that serve some of the neediest members of our community. Early literacy programs are key to educational success, which is critical to breaking the cycle of poverty. I'm excited about the opportunity to serve my community in this voluntary capacity. I know that libraries are an important access point for a wide variety of community services, including support for local patrons who use the library for internet access, to apply for jobs, apply for social services, and seek assistance. Our libraries also support a wide variety of programs, from Holocaust education to rock hounding. Sincerely, Heather Denny. So she's applying for the Jefferson County Library Board. She has commission on here, but I think it's a board. Any?
Do we have an opening?
Yes,
That seems to be a,
yes.
Oh, didn't. was
Dan,
it you that told me that
Dan
somebody-
sits near it anyway.
Yeah, they do. The other individual that was there didn't make it, so they had to let him go.
Has the library board weighed in on this?
This is the first to me too. I do not know. That's exactly right.
We usually give them the opportunity to.
so, yeah, we can table that one as well, and we can ask around and see if everybody's comfortable with that one. You can maybe hit up, when's your next library board meeting?
Next week. I believe it is next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be good. So you guys feel like comfortable just tabling that one for now?
I do.
Yes.
Okay. All right, our last but not least is Kia McIlwain, I believe is how you say that. If I'm wrong, anybody can correct me. Hello, every year I look forward to Jefferson County Fair and Rodeo. It's one of my favorite Boulder events, and I'm always telling folks it's the best fair anywhere. I love that so many of our community members participate year after year in their events for all ages, and that it shows off the best of this beautiful place. As a small business owner, a community member, a fan of the fair and fairgrounds, I'd love this opportunity to become more involved in this fun family event by joining the board. Thank you for your consideration. And I did ask Leah, and I did ask Mr. Binkowski, and she seems to be a good fit for the board, and I'm assuming there's room on the board right now.
There is.
Okay.
Yep.
So that one, I think we're good to go if everybody's good with it.
I'm good with it.
Anybody want to move to appoint Kia?
Move to approve, but what is it?
Kia
Yeah.
McIlwain,
McIlwain, on the board of
Fair and
fair and, who's that board and
Fair and Rodeo?
Yeah.
I think it's just the
Rodeo.
fair board. It's not
Fair
really
board,
the
yeah, fair
rodeo
board.
board.
Second, Mr. Chair.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, all right, very good. All right, we're running out of stuff here. It's almost 2 o'clock, Bruce. Have you heard from Mr. What's his name?
Mike Corn?
Corn, Mr. Corn.
Not yet, huh?
No, you don't keep track of him either, Dave.
No.
Ladana said she didn't keep track of him.
There he is. You walked in on that?
Right on cue.
Mike,
No, that's not
That
mine.
guy's gonna be AWOL.
You figured you could do it, Dan.
Oh, yeah, with amongst the others that are in here with me. We help oversee it. We don't.
All right, we'll give Mike a couple more minutes here and we'll have to tell jokes or something.
Well, while you're telling time, the Madison was here, the TV show from Paramount Plus, and they they parked a ton of cars in the fairgrounds, brought in a tent to feed their people. County will get $1,000 for their rental, and worked out really well.
They blocked our
except for traffic to the landfill
solid,
Yes,
our
except-
solid waste road.
or
Yeah.
solid waste site, yeah.
That I was not aware.
Neither was our road guy.
Yeah, but they were very pleased, and they'll keep us in mind. In fact, we think they shot a scene right there on the Whitetail, right in front of the fairgrounds where
Mhm.
a car was racing. So who knows, we may make
Make the movie.
make the show.
Nice. That's good.
And in the meantime, there was a wedding going on at the same time.
Nice, lots going on.
Yeah, it worked out. They did not give me lunch, but they did offer our caretakers lunch, so.
All right, I guess we're 2 o'clock. Mr. Mike's either not coming or he's late, so we'll just go ahead and it's just a discussion item anyway, so. Has everybody seen this plan that's here to discuss the plan? Anybody need a copy of the plan? How's that? You'd like a copy of that? Do you have an extra one? I can go make a copy.
Well, I can give you this one to run off.
Anybody else need one? Ken, so make two for me, Lindsay, if you don't mind. All right. Bruce, you know enough about this to lead us off on this?
I do not, but this gentleman to my right does,
Okay, all right.
or Ladina.
Or Ladina, okay.
Gentlemen,
Anybody that wants to give us an introduction and kind of what we're trying to do here would be awesome.
I'll do it if you want. I'll start it out. Okay.
Well, Dan can do it.
Part of it, no,
there's not much here.
okay, I'll just wait till they. Well, I guess get started. What it is, it's a draft with the Parks Trails Recreation. We've been given the opportunity, which we've accepted, Rattlesnake Butte, which everyone's probably familiar with that area or location. And Parks Trails Recreation Council was asked to draft an overview on this. I asked for the management plan. And you'll soon have that in your hand, what that management plan was. And since then, and I apologize, your name again? Mike, that's it, I'm sorry, because he was here, he had some great ideas on top of this. So we all discussed it and then put that in here, but as for the draft itself, which we can talk about with what Mike had to offer to, of where we're at, what we got, and some thoughts about what everyone thinks in terms of where we're looking to go with this here in the real near future.
Mike's comments have been added yet.
Oh,
We just discussed.
Well,
that.
okay, yeah, I meant at I'm sorry, I should back up, at the Parks Trails Recreation meeting, so nobody else really knows about it, so probably, yeah, in your best interest to bring it up again for those folks, the other commissioners and stuff that don't know about it. But I added those notes as much so too, so I have them, but you're exactly right, thanks for pointing that out. So without that being said, where to start? Do you want to take on the overview part of it, Ladana?
On the overview.
In other words, what we were looking at, in other words, the park itself as for the signage and use of, or do you want me to take it?
So what the Parks, Trails and Rec Board did was just come up with a basic plan. We know probably over time, the plan will change once we have the property and we start using it. If we have concerns with what's going on, we can always add to this plan. The thought was this was never a document that's set in stone. This is a living document. It's meant to be changed as the conditions change. So the property has been transferred to the county now. So it is in the county's name. A portion did stay with Pam, so she has that. That's her property to do whatever she wishes with it. It is not part of the parkland. The parkland is the piece that, the county already had that was on the west side of Rattlesnake Butte, and then we combined land from the other side. Can I see that for a second? So it looks like we have about 56 acres now, and Pam kept about 13 and a half. So the board did come up with, they had some thoughts about parking and access, how the lot would be accessed. The main access point will be up there, off of Virginia Road, I think is what it's called. And there'll just be a small parking area there. We're not anticipating like tons of people being there at one time to need a giant parking area. At this point, they are not talking about going in and putting in some big parking area or anything. It's just probably a few cars would be coming and using it, and they can park there like people have already been doing. It would be very basic uses that would be going on in there, mainly hiking, biking, sledding, picnics, general recreation. Pets could be allowed in the park, but they have to be under the owner's control at all times. There would not be riding allowed in the park, so
We are not anticipating that people would be driving through there. The only driving that may occur would be whatever's going to the Miller's property through their easement. There wouldn't be anybody else driving through there. The board is not thinking of putting up a fence at this point. If down the road, we do end up having problems with neighboring properties and things, that could be an option that they would need to look at. It would be basically a day use area. You couldn't take materials from there. You can't trespass on the neighboring properties. No littering, no fireworks, no shooting, hunting and trapping, and no unauthorized commercial uses. So that's basically what would be allowed there. They were going to put up a few signs just to kind of mark the area so people know where they're at. And I think that probably the signage piece will depend upon how much funding that they still have available, to be able to purchase the signs. They had anticipated a couple larger signs and then just some smaller, more informational signs. But all of that's gonna depend upon how much money they actually have to be able to do that. And the signs, they went through kind of each of the signs and what it would have on it at this point. And the locations of the signs were shown on the map that were included with the management plan.
And there was some discussion about possibly eliminating some of the signs, not having as many as are on the map at this point. But that is to be determined.
And they did not change the plan after their meeting. Mike did provide a whole bunch of comments. And I think those comments, many of them are valid comments that we may want to include in here. But at this point, they didn't feel like the plan should be updated because they didn't actually, they've already voted on it to bring it forward to the commissioners. So they didn't want to start adding stuff to it after they've already made that decision. So the commissioners could kick it back and say, hey, go back, do some more work on it. At which point, some of Mike's comments or any other public comments could be incorporated into the plan. And we would be responsible for managing the weeds on there, like we are on any county properties. And they want to review the plan every 2 years, so they can keep up on it to see if any changes need to be made. It's kind of the summary.
Thank you, Dana, appreciate that. Anybody, any questions, comments otherwise? I think it's a great start to a good plan.
Yeah, I'd sure like to recommend that they go back and incorporate Mike's suggestions into the document. I mean, it's kind of hard for us to look at this final document without having that information here, so.
Yeah,
And
no,
any other comments that,
And I really appreciate you folks getting a hold of Mike and encouraging him to come and give his testimony on this piece of property too. I appreciate Mike coming.
yeah, we had a good discussion with the board that night with Mike there and providing input on what was actually occurring there. It's nice to have that, considering there's people there that have been there for a long time and they kind of know how the area has been used in the past and can explain that to us.
Yeah, yeah. All the vacated road and all that stuff that you just can't see, by standing there, so.
yeah, so I think it's a good start if we can get probably, we're not in a huge hurry for it. We'd obviously like to get some signs up at some point, but I don't know if Bernadette wants to be a part of the conversation of this part of it. I know you were talking about easements and stuff. That's probably not the same as this, but you're sure welcome to go to the Parks Trails meetings when they do talk about
Yeah, I'd
this.
like to, when did you say?
Next Monday night,
Monday?
6:30 here, the 18th.
Okay. Thanks.
So yeah, very good job. I appreciate the Parks and Trails getting this hammered out and
The only thing I'd like to point on behalf of the commissioners or the other half there is some of the signs, which Mike pointed out was a great idea. Some are redundant. So that would have to be in consideration, and he had some very good input on that. So
Is there any access from the south side? Do people access that from the south side now from?
It would just be the
Stony Brook?
Stony Brook people, because
Okay.
that's a private road
So
into there.
people, I know, I remember somebody saying they're parking down there and they'll go south, they'll go north, they park there, so. I'm not sure.
I'm guessing they get traffic there,
But it
yeah,
is a private road and we
it is
don't
a
want to
private road.
encourage
That's right.
traffic.
That's right.
Sure. Okay, very good. Any other comments on this one? All right, I guess we'll just give it back to the Parks Board and we can incorporate Mike's comments and anybody else that you get between now and then. And at some point when we're comfortable with it, we'll change this to, discuss and decide on this plan and get it put into place. Anything else, gentlemen?
It's good for
Sure.
them.
All right. Okay, anything else for the good of the order today? If not, we will be adjourned. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ken.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Connor. Have a good one.
I'll take it Monday and let them know. I'm gonna let them know ahead of time, so get ready.
I got that book you told me.